Satang Prasanga.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, and welcome to today's session. How are you doing? I pray that all is well with you and your families at this time. So today we're continuing with the second part of this quite an interesting and very revealing letter. It's to Satsvarupa Maharaj. Of course, he was a grihastha then. He was married to Jadarani Mataji. So at that time, it's 1968. So we were saying repeatedly that these devotees are only 2 years in the movement. And Prabhupada is revealing such intricate dynamics between Krishna, Ram, and Lord Chaitanya. So we continue with the reading, and we catch it here at this point, and it goes as follows. The whole program was on the basis of an ideal king. But in the case of Lord Krishna, he played as full independent Supreme Personality of Godhead. Apparently, therefore, he transgressed so many moral and ethical principles. So we see Prabhupada uses the word apparently there. This is a little bit of a sarcastic comment because he's saying, because you don't know who is Krishna, then apparently you think he's transgressed morality. This is the main thing people comment on when they comment on Krishna, that he's done immoral things, stealing and dancing with other people's wives and all these kind of comments. But Krishna is saying in Gita, Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravatyate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. He's saying everything animate and inanimate comes from me. So don't you think the wives also come from Krishna? Don't you think the butter also comes from Krishna? And if he's going to steal, don't you want to steal something more valuable than butter? So Prabhupada uses the word apparent here. So what is left? If there's everything animate and inanimate, what is outside that jurisdiction? So therefore, because we don't understand that, then apparently it looks like Krishna is stealing. So Prabhupada clarifies that. He goes on to say, these comparative studies on the life of Krishna and Ramachandra is very intricate. Can you see? Prabhupada is saying it's intricate, but yet is explaining it to somebody who's just joined only 2 years. So can you imagine the depth of wisdom and erudite scholarship Prabhupada has to break down such complicated concepts in Vedic wisdom and break it down to somebody that's just new and make them understand it? Because in traditional Hinduism, very few Hindus actually understand the intricacies of this play between Ram and Krishna, Lord Chaitanya, how the different avatars are and what are their moods and how to relate to them. Because when we say God, we relate to all of them as God. But Ramachandra is not acting as God. You look through the Leela, where did he act as God? Nowhere. He always acted as the ideal king. All the time. He never at any time showed his majesty. But Krishna, definitely we saw it so many times. Govardhan Hill, so many Leelas. So Prabhupada goes on to explain. But the basic principle is that Ramachandra appeared as an ideal king and Krishna appeared as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Prabhupada is saying, if you just catch this point, it's good enough. You've understood. And is there any more deeper wisdom than that? If we just understand that Lord Ramachandra came to show the ideal king and Krishna has come to show, I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Very big difference. Prabhupada goes on to say, although there is no difference between the two, so he's saying they both are the same person. So what is the difference? Because we can see there is a difference. The difference is in mood. And this is the essential point of this letter, as Prabhupada will explain here. A similar example is Lord Chaitanya. He appeared as a devotee and not as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although he is Krishna himself. So we should accept the Lord's mood in particular appearances, and we should worship him in that mood. This is the point. It's a very, very deep point that many practitioners of Vedic culture miss. Because when we think of God, we group everything into God. But Prabhupada is saying, no, each deity, each has his own personality. So Krishna has his own mood, Radhe Shyam have their own mood, Krishna Balaram have their own mood, Ram, Sita Ram, Lakshman, Hanuman, they have their own mood. So in one altar, just take like Juhu temple, in one altar you have 3 different moods, but yet you have all the same pujaris. So as a pujari, it's very, very important that we understand the mood of the deity that we're worshipping. Because you cannot approach that deity in the wrong mood. He won't reciprocate with that mood. Just like Lord Chaitanya, Prabhupada explains that here. Sometimes Lord Chaitanya, because he is Krishna himself, somebody worships him in the same manner as Krishna. But Krishna was in the role of enjoyer and Lord Chaitanya is in the role of being enjoyed. So he's saying there's some groups, the deviant groups, that worship Lord Chaitanya in the mood of the Supreme Lord only. But we see that he is in the mood of a devotee. Radha Krishna Vrikiti Ladhini Shakti Rasmat Ekatmaki Bhavi Bhuva Vedamscho Gato Jo Chaitanyakyam Prakatamadhana Tadvayam Chaikyam Aptam Radha Bhava Duti Suvalitam Krishna Swarupam. So it's Krishna Swarup, it is Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna, but Radha Bhav, he has Radharani's mood and Duti and complexion. So he wants to be reciprocated in that way as a devotee, not as a Supreme Lord. Prabhupada goes on to say here, so the party known as Gauranga Nagari, they are considered to be deviated from pure devotional service on account of Lord Chaitanya given the same facility of Krishna. So he's saying Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doesn't want to be worshipped in the way of the Supreme Lord. He already did that in the previous avatar as Krishna. Now he wants to be in the devotee. Bhakta avataram bhaktyākyam namami bhakti shaktikam. He wants to be in the mood of a bhakta. And so does his associates. So he goes on. He did not like that. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not like that. Our service mood should be compatible to the attitude of the Lord. So when you're worshipping the Lord, please understand the mood you're worshipping in. Maybe that's why he's not reciprocating with you. Because if you're approaching him as only Lord, 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 give this, give that, give this, Dhanam, Janam, Sundarim, we want all these things, then he's going to say, but that is not his mood. So his mood is not the supreme maintainer, Vishvambara. Just like Chaitanya, Prabhupada is giving this example. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Vishvambara, maintainer of the whole universe. But he's also Nimai, the little Nimai. Even in Nimai, he's Nimai Pandit, he's Nimai that Sita Thakur Rani used to hold and take care of. So many different, within that one aspect of childhood, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had so many different moods there. And then as he grew up, he was also showed his Mahaprakash Leela. That's a different mood, completely different mood in Srivasangam. So and then his sannyas mood, completely different mood. So which mood, if you have Gaur-Nitai deities, which mood are you worshipping them in? And you can't call him by the different name. If you just say Chaitanya, Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, which mood of Chaitanya is this? And are you connecting to him only in that mood to give him pleasure? That's a very deep point, isn't it? So this Prabhupada is writing in a letter in 1968. It's so remarkable. Prabhupada goes on to say, not that we should overlap the attitude of Krishna to Lord Chaitanya, or Lord Chaitanya to Krishna, or Krishna to Ramachandra, or Ramachandra to Krishna. Therefore, in the Shastra, specific injunctions are there, just like to worship Lord Chaitanya by the method of chanting Hare Krishna. So he's saying there are specific ways in which we worship when we have deities. Even Jagannath, I know many devotees have Jagannath deities, but Jagannath has so many features, so many features. So which feature of Jagannath are you worshipping? Or are you just calling him Jagannath? It's a very specific thing that builds relationship. Unless we understand that point, how do we build our relationship with the deities if we don't know what mood we're worshipping him in? Very important point. Prabhupada goes on to say, yes, it is true that Ramachandra banished Sita. So he's probably asking, why did Ram banish Sita? So Prabhupada explaining this point. Yes, it is true that Ramachandra banished Sita later on, but Ayodhya is not bound up by any material worlds. So Prabhupada is saying, don't limit Ayodhya just to your material geographic location or jurisdiction. Ayodhya is a spiritual environment. And Ram at that time was the emperor of the whole planet. Dasarat was the emperor of the whole planet. So when he came back to Ayodhya, Ram, he became emperor of the whole planet. So if he owns the whole planet, or he's ruling the whole planet, where can he put Sita that she's not under his jurisdiction? So Prabhupada clarifies that point. Just like Vrindavan is not bound up by any material limitations, as much as Krishna is not bound up by any material limitations, so the kingdom of Ayodhya historically was a tract of land as we see at the present moment. But at that time, the king of Ayodhya was the emperor of the whole world. You see, Prabhupada is saying that same point. That if he owns and if he's ruling the whole planet, then where can he put her that she's not under his jurisdiction? So it seems like we've finished that part of the letter, discussing the point about serving the Lord in a particular relationship. Please think about that very deeply as you're serving your deities today, as in what is the mood you're relating to with that deity. Whatever that mood is, do you know enough about that mood? Because you've chosen that mood to serve Lord Chaitanya in that mood, or to serve Radha and Krishna in that particular mood. Seeing that you've chosen that mood, do you know enough about that mood to please the deities, to please them in that mood? If you don't, then it's a good chance to learn. We can all learn. So it's a good moment to learn. And in this way, deepen your relationship with your personal deities. Because if you just call them Radha, Krishna or Gaur Nitai, there is no mood there. We don't know which Gaur Nitai this is. We become like the Lord Brahma, who tells Krishna, oh, just tell Krishna Brahma is here. Which Brahma? 4-headed, 10-headed, he had no idea. So that's why Prabhupada uses that word apparently. Because of our limited knowledge, we're not relating to the deity in a particular mood. This is the essence of deity worship. Not all the pujas and everything that we did. If there's anything I learned over the 20 odd years of doing deity worship and even in Vrindavan, it's this. It's not all the mudras or the slokas or the procedures that we learned and in intricate ways. The essence of it is, what is your mood with the deity? What is your mood? And do you know enough about that mood, and are you reciprocating enough in that mood? This is very, very important. This is the depth, this is the heart of worshipping the deity and understanding the deity. Otherwise, it gradually will lead into idol worship. That you just put the boga in front of the Lord and He'll stamp it, prasadam, and then you ring the bell and take it away. That He just becomes an offering machine, the offering procedure. It's not that. He wants a loving relationship with us. Bhakti is about relationship, bhava. It's about bhav, relationship. So it's very important that we understand this point and think about this point. So the leather is so intriguing. We're going to continue it tomorrow in the last part. It's very beautiful. It's about Jagannath in the last part. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed your day today, and we'll see you tomorrow. Hare Krishna.